Welcome to the HETV Game of the Week. Tonight we have Fremd visiting Schaumburg. This shapes up as a defensive battle. Fremd comes in as the leading defensive team in the league, and Schaumburg is the second leading defensive team in the league. I'm John Anderson. Fremd comes in with a 3-3 record, 1-1 in the conference. They're under new head coach Lou Sponsel. He's directed this team this year. He was an assistant coach for several years before and succeeded Mike Donatucci, who is the defensive coordinator for Schaumburg and doing a great job in that capacity tonight. So tonight will be his first opportunity to go against his former team. Schaumburg, Fremd leads in scoring defense. They've allowed only about 15 points a game, and Schaumburg is just behind them. On the other hand, Fremd has struggled a little bit on offense. They're fifth in the league in offense. Fremd has played the toughest schedule in the league. They've lost 3 games, but they've lost only to teams with 5-1 records. Tonight they're playing another one with a 5-1 record, so they get a chance to try to break that string. Last week they lost to an outstanding Palatine team, the leading team in the conference so far, and considered a favorite for the title by many. They lost only 24-17, so a very good performance last week. On offense, they feature the running of Jeff McGlad, usually going up the middle. They run heavily out of a spread formation, although they do run out of their power T formation also. Sam Butler, Jr. is the quarterback again. He's been a 2.5-year starter. Matt Isola is a key receiver. That strong defense that they have features Phil Hetzler at defensive end, Brad Gersdan at tackle, Cody Rosen at tackle, Addison Narker at tackle. Gersdan is 243. The other young men are more like 210 pounds, so they're moderate size, but very good players. The linebacker, Greg Money, 5'11", 195, is a standout at linebacker. Nick Storm is the other linebacker. Matt Kanopka and Matt Isola are in the defensive secondary. For Schaumburg, Coach Mark Stilling is enjoying quite a good year. They're 5-1 on the year, so they've already pretty much succeeded in clinching the playoffs this year. They're third in scoring in the league, and as I said earlier, they're second in defense. Last week, I was at the Barrington game and saw Schaumburg win that game 20-14. It was fairly typical. They had a couple of major big plays. Last week it was a 50-yard run by Patterson and a 44-yard pass to Jawan Richards that accounted for 2 of their key scores. And also last Saturday in the second half, Stacy Smith came in at quarterback for a while and played quite well. So we might see Stacy at quarterback here tonight. Nick Anselmo has played most at quarterback this year, and I'm sure that he'll see a lot of action at that position as well. As I said earlier, the defensive coordinator for Schaumburg this year is Mike Donatucci, the former Fremd coach, and he's leading and coaching a defense. Some of the key players there, defensive end McFadden, defensive tackle Warasak, a very big defensive tackle Lee Does. He's 6'4", 360, and a defensive end Will Congo. He's 210. Linebacker Blake Whitcamp has been standing out this year, and the safety Cole Riaz is a major college recruit, and he's 6'3", 205 pounds. A few key offensive linemen, Matt Selper, Justin Sanchez, and Mac Stopka. So on balance tonight, it's a cool night, by far the coldest weather we've had this fall. And it looks like a game that will be hard fought and relatively low scoring between the leading defense in the conference, Fremd, going up against the number 2 defense, Schaumburg. So we look for a very hard-fought, very entertaining, but somewhat low-scoring game tonight. Just getting ready for the kickoff here. Fremd back in position to receive the opening kickoff on this cool October evening, early October, from Schaumburg. Fremd at the south end of the field. There's the kick, up, deep to the left, it's fielded, and returned all the way out to, looks like about the 35, 36 yard line.
So Fremd will have decent field position to start out on offense. Moving against the second toughest defense in the league in the Schaumburg Saxons.
Schaumburg having allowed 105 points over the course of the season, and they're bested only by Fremd with 93 points allowed in the 6 games played thus far. Here's Fremd coming out of, they got their veteran quarterback over the center for this opening play.
Handoff up the middle, goes nowhere.
That was probably McLeod on the carry there. He's been their heavy-duty ball carrier all year. That number 21, I believe.
Yes, it was.
So, picked up about a yard. Here's Butler over the center again. Gives again, and Schaumburg defense rises up and stops again. That Schaumburg defense has one real big player in it, 63, Lee Duz, 6'4", 360. The others are moderate-sized athletes, right around 215. That's, I believe it's McFadden, Warasek, and Kogo out there in the defensive line for Schaumburg, which has done a strong job all year.
And with 3 receivers to the right, and the receiver turns into a defensive back there, knocking the ball away from the Schaumburg defender.
So on 3rd and long, it's knocked aside. That brings up 4th down, and we've got the punting team entering the field for Fremd. So the Schaumburg defense starts off with a 3 and out. We get a look at the league leading Fremd defense shortly. Here's back to receive the punt. It looks like number 12, that's Smith, I believe, Stacy Smith.
A short punt bounces out of bounds about the 35 of Schaumburg. So both teams starting off about their 35-yard line, decent field position. Ball actually placed on the 34 as the Schaumburg offense comes out to take the field.
Defense for that defensive line for Fremd is even a little lighter than Schaumburg's. It's very fast and tough.
Hand off to number 12 off
this time.
Right tackle.
Smith finds a little opening there. Fremd saying the ball came out. Let's see what happened here. Perhaps he was down by the time it came out.
Looks like Schaumburg retains possession.
So evidently that was the case.
2nd and inches.
Nick and Anselmo.
Now they're calling it 1st down. Now the chains are moving. Schaumburg wasn't aware of it, so they ran a short yardage play.
Quarterback sneak on 1st down, picks up 1 yard, or a yard and a...
Maybe 2 yards.
The mix-up there, going with a quarterback sneak on what turned out to be a 1st down play. Nevertheless, it did gain a couple of yards. And as they did last Saturday, Schaumburg is starting off with Nick Ensemble. We'll probably see Smith a little bit tonight.
at quarterback as well. He's more of a running quarterback, and Anselmo is more inclined to pass the football. Little mix-up again out there.
So the referee's talking to the Schaumburg coach over there on the sideline.
We're 2nd and 8 when we get back under play again. Anselmo operating out of a spread formation this time. He's flag down, but Anselmo takes off. He saw a lot of running room and took it. He's got a lot of yardage. This play is still going. He's avoided several tackles, and he's all the way down to
about the 15-yard line.
15-yard line on that play, but there was a flag down early. We'll see whether that holds up or comes back.
It looks like it was against Fremd.
The flag was against the Vikings of Fremd, and so the play holds up. And Schaumburg is off to quite a good start against this strong Fremd defense. In the very early going here. And they're tacking on the penalty here, and that'll bring Schaumburg all the way down
about the 10-yard line.
To the 10-yard line. Spread formation again, Ensemble looking over the field.
Hand off up the middle.
Lots of power in that running, and it's going to be all the way down to, he's hit by a lot of players, but he dragged them along for a few yards.
Down to about the 3-yard line, it looks like.
I believe that was probably Patterson on that carry. Patterson has been the heavy inside runner all year for Schaumburg, and that gives their offense a lot of continuity. He's been able to bang up the middle behind the blocking of that offensive line. Here he goes again. This time a little veering off to the left, and he broke a couple of tackles. He's in the end zone.
Looked like Fremd had him for a loss, and he was able to break 3 and scored into the end zone.
So that was right there. That was an exhibition of power running by Sedaris Patterson, who was hit shortly after he received the football, and then broke a couple of tackles and burst into the end zone for a touchdown here as Schaumburg takes the early lead.
Flag flies there. Too many men on the field. So the referee talking it over with Schaumburg, seeing what they want to do with it. They may tack it on to the kickoff later. So 8:34, they're going to try for the extra point. Up, and it is good.
It's good, so Schaumburg takes an early 7-0 lead. Their first time with the ball tonight, and they take it in for a touchdown. It's 7-0 with 8:34 remaining in the first quarter. So the Schaumburg offense getting the better of it so far against this strong Fremd defense.
So Schaumburg lining it up for the kickoff. The ball falls off the tee. They'll have to reset it there.
Fremd at the south end of the field, and they will have a little bit of a wind support. Wind is coming out of the southwest, it appears.
Taken at the
There's
5.
Running wide right here and pushed out of bounds at about
the 25, it looks like.
25-yard line. Fremd will try to get something going against this good Schaumburg defense, which has made a big contribution to the 5-1 record that Schaumburg has put together here. They've had spectacular big plays on offense throughout the season this year, but the defense has been steady and solid, and so it's enabled them to get to a 5-1 record.
So 2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right, 2 backfield, back to pass, complete, out to the 32.
Butler, the
85, the receiver there. Parker.
A veteran quarterback at only junior. He's played 2.5 years already. He's in his second full year as a starter and started some as a freshman.
2 wides to the right, 1 to the left, eye backfield. Handoff, off left tackle. Picks up the first down. So Fremd with a new set of downs. They'll move the chains.
That was, I believe that was McGlade. He's the heavy-duty ball carrier for Fremd this year. He's a 5'10", 190-pound junior running back.
Handoff again to McGlade.
McGlade again, he's cut down by number 2. That's Cole Reyes, who is a major college recruit on Schaumburg, coming up out of his safety position to make that tackle.
McGlade not able to get the corner on that one.
Reyes showed very good closing speed on that tackle.
So 2 wides left, 1 to the right. Handoff, again off the left side.
McGlade again.
Taken down just past the 45.
Fremd is showing the quarterback Butler over the center tonight. When we saw them a couple of weeks ago, they had him about 5 yards behind the center receiving the snap, but tonight he's been almost exclusively over the center. There's the quarterback sneak.
That moves the chains, gives Fremd a new set of downs. 6:06 left in the first quarter. Fremd moving methodically here, trying to answer the Schaumburg score. Hand off again to McGlade. Not much running room off the left side.
So that brings up 2nd down and 10. The ball at the 48 of Fremd.
Two wides to the right, 1 to the left. And there's a timeout called by Fremd. The Vikings are going to call things over. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, the team's back out on the field. 2nd and 10 for the Fremd Vikings. 5:04 left to go. Back to pass.
Here's Butler. And he's got his man. He's got number 24. That's Matt Konopka, a junior. good size receiver, 6'2", 190, and I would guess that's the younger brother of the Konopka, who is now playing offensive tackle, I believe, for Northwestern. Played for Fremd a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago.
So that brings up a 3rd and 1 for Fremd. Handoff up the middle. And it's
McGlade, and
close.
he's going to be very close to picking up a first down here. I think he's just barely got it. See where the mark is. It's going to be very close.
First down.
First down.
So Fremd continues this drive. Ball at the Schaumburg 42. I backfield, or offset backfield rather.
Schaumburg appears to be in a 4-3-4 defense.
Quick hitch out to the right, picks up about 5 or 6 yards.
Pass was thrown with real crispness, real authority by Butler there. That's the kind of pass that is very hard to intercept. It's not airborne very long.
And he got it out quick, so defense doesn't have a lot of time to react to it.
It's a good possession pass. 2nd down and 3, I believe. There's McGlade trying to pick up a first down. He's
Looks like he's just
pretty close again.
the referee's looking it over.
Lou Sponsel is only the 3rd coach in the history of Fremd High School. Donna Tucci was there 19 years, and
3rd and inches on this play.
3rd and inches here, so there's the
Quarterback
quarterback
sneak.
Yeah, not surprising. Quarterback sneak, and that looks to have picked it up. There's a flag. Is there a flag down?
Yes, there is. Bounced it off the side of a Fremd Viking. But it looks like it's against Schaumburg.
Referees having a conference there, and now we get the ruling. It's against Schaumburg, so we'll have a first down, and it's going to be marched off. And Fremd is on the move here late in the first quarter. This will give them a first down all the way. This is going all the way down to, it looks like the 16-yard line there. Yeah.
No
Well,
personal foul tax on 15
I
yards.
think we'll see McGlade run the football a bit here.
Met in the backfield, spins away from the tackler.
Spins away from a tackler. Schaumburg anticipated his running, but just didn't wrap up that tackle, and he picked up about
maybe 4 yards.
4 yards or so on that first down play. That gets it all the way down to about that's what about the 11-yard line, I guess.
Yes, it is. Schaumburg defender hit him in the backfield, but didn't wrap him up. He's able to spin away.
So Fremd trying to tie up this ball game. 11 yards to go, and they've
Hand off again to McGlade. Again,
McGlade.
trying the right side. Not much there. About the 10-yard
he bumps
line.
into that strong Schaumburg defense and doesn't get much on that one. So it's 3rd down and 4. Well, maybe we'll see one of those sharp little slant passes right here.
One receiver to each side. 2 men shifting over to the left. Hand off to
Go
the
with
right.
McGlade to the right.
Hurls a man, and he's in.
He's in the end zone. They loaded up the formation to the left that time. It looked like either a run or a pass to the left. Faked There was a little bit of a fake by Butler looking to the left, and then spinning around, giving the ball to McGlade, who took it to the right and all the way on into the end zone. So we have a 7-6 game, and Fremd is lining up for the extra point.
So 2:16 left in the first quarter. Waiting for the extra point attempt.
Up and
No good, off to the left.
Off to the left.
Good pressure there by Schaumburg.
Had plenty of distance, but just pulled it a little bit to the left.
So Schaumburg retains a lead there.
They're up 7-6 with 2:16 remaining in the first quarter here, and we've seen perhaps a little more offense than anticipated here. Both teams working against tough defenses here. The top two against scoring in the Mid-Suburban West.
But a good sustained drive there by Fremd, able to move the ball from about their 25 down for the score.
McGlade was running well, and Butler had a couple of passes, and they had the benefit of a penalty or two, and they put a nice drive together.
Schaumburg with the benefit of the long run there on their drive.
Offensive line playing pretty well for Fremd on that drive.
So short kick comes down out of bounds around the 30-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. Looks like they may re-kick it. Yep, the kicking team's coming back out onto the field. They're going to try it over. So illegal procedure there called on Fremd. Kicker moves forward, the ball's up. Again, curling over to the left. Caught at the 25-yard line.
This is Smith, Stacy Smith, all the way down to
about the 35.
The 35 of Fremd, where they'll have a very short field to work with, a tremendous field position off of that, and that's another example of big plays by Schaumburg. This has been a pattern all season long. When they do it every game, it's not a matter of luck, it's a matter of talent at this point. This happens every week with this team. They've got some outstanding athletes with tremendous speed and football savvy, and they pull off these big plays every week. So Smith with the run back here to just outside the 35-yard line.
Quarterback pulls it down, passes to number 4.
That appeared to be Smith in at quarterback there after having run back the kickoff.
So Collins on the reception there.
And he
picks up the first down.
Completes a nice pass on a little rollout to his left. And Schaumburg now is down to, looks like about the 19-yard line or so, with another first down. And this is Smith in at quarterback, Stacy Smith at quarterback now. He gives to
number 3,
Patterson. Patterson cracks it up the middle. That's been a real staple of the Schaumburg offense, the Patterson play right up the middle, and good blocking from the line. And here it picks up about 3 yards on that play.
Like the ball's about on the 17-yard line. Schaumburg spreading it out to receivers to each side.
Smith back in a spread formation. He's running right. He's got a little running room. He's making a big turn around the right, and he's picked up a lot of yardage on this. This is
There's a flag flying late down to about the 8-yard line. We'll see what the call is. See a Schaumburg man
Smith that
clapping
holds
there.
up. He picked up quite a bit of yardage. Smith has tremendous acceleration on these wide runs. Smith looks like the penalty walked off against Fremd. So here it is. It's fourth and it's 4 yards to go. First down.
First and goal.
First and goal at the 4. Smith takes it.
Jukes in the backfield, cuts up the middle.
Fakes a little run to the left and then scoots up the middle. However, there's heavy traffic there and he's stopped before the goal line, but not by too much, I don't think. He's down to the 1 or 2 yard line. Let's see, looks like they're placing it at the 2. So second down and 2. Now Smith is over the center for this, and they've got 3 running backs. So this is just a power formation. He gives to Patterson. Patterson is in the end zone for the touchdown. So Schaumburg makes quick work of 36 yards here, and completes the drive off, set up by the big return by Stacy Smith. Puts another touchdown on the board. It's now 13-6, and they're lining up for the extra point. So Schaumburg, taking on the number 1 defense against scoring, has scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
The kick is up and it's good, but the flag is flown.
The kick made it with a tremendous margin. Strong kick there by number 32.
And the penalty on Fremd, so the kick is good.
That's Blake Whitcamp, the linebacker, in the role of place kicker. So that makes it
14-6 with 7.2 seconds.
Yeah, 14-6. And thus far, the game looks to be one with a little more offense than anticipated. We have the top 2 defensive units on the field, and we've got 20 points, and we've got a few ticks left in the first quarter. So we'll see if things settle down defensively for these teams. Fremd going back to receive another kickoff.
So with the penalty, it looks like they're going to be kicking off from about the Fremd 45. Wait for the referee to spot the ball. He's trying to figure out where to... It is going to be a kickoff from the 45.
So Fremd penalized on the last play, so it's assessed here, and Schaumburg will be kicking the ball. It's actually sitting in Fremd territory, so this is almost certainly going to result in bad field position, probably in the end zone with this kick. Kick is up, it's near the end zone line, but it's taken there, and coming out to about the 17-yard line, it looks.
So this the worst field position Fremd's had this game.
Fremd was able to put together a good drive the last time they had the ball, and however this time they need to really work hard. They've got 83 yards of football field to traverse in order to put another touchdown on the board here.
Well, 1.1 seconds left in the first quarter, so it's probably a safe bet that it won't happen this quarter. I'm spreading it out. Fakes the handoff.
Butler, little mix-up on the play there, and the ball falls incomplete. Good coverage by Schaumburg on the near receiver there, and perhaps Butler just saw that and decided to toss it over his head.
Well, Butler was under pressure there in the backfield, had to get rid of the ball. So he threw it out to 44, Greg Morley. Morley didn't see it, wasn't able to catch up to it. And so at the end of the first quarter, they score Schaumburg 14, Fremd 6. We'll be back in a moment.
So here we are beginning the second quarter.
Fremd again spreading the
Butler
field.
again throws to the short man to the left on a little screen pass and picks up a tremendous amount of yardage. He was over there. That was Money, I believe.
It was, Money, Greg Money, number 44.
Who has been quite a player for Fremd, playing linebacker on defense, and he sees quite a bit of action on offense as sort of a blocking back and a wing back off to the side. That time he just went over into the flat, caught the pass, and picked up good yardage on it.
So pitch out to the right. Picks up a couple of yards. So out to the 34-yard line. Picks up about a yard and a half.
Well, that pass to Money got them out of the bad field position. They're now out on the 34, so that's gives them more room to operate with.
Two wides left, one to the right, one back in the backfield.
There's Butler throwing the ball quite a bit tonight. Complete again. That's that sharp angle pass. Picks up about 4 or 5 yards on that play.
So that'll bring up a 3rd and 4 for the Fremd Vikings.
Fremd appears to be emphasizing the short pass here tonight. Got 2 receivers right, 1 left. And I believe that's Money in sort of a blocking back position. Oh,
the jailbreak on the quarterback.
Schaumburg coming there with a tremendous rush. Defensive line as well as linebackers, and Butler taken down rather quickly on the sack. That brings up 4th down. So 4th and 7, they'll have to punt it away, with the score 14-6 in favor of Schaumburg. It's Stacy Smith back. He's playing quarterback and punt returner here tonight. Punt is a short one, but bounces out of bounds at about the 46, it appears. 46 of Schaumburg.
Schaumburg man ran into the kicker there, so Fremd may be able to retain possession here.
Flag down here, so if that was a violation, we'll see Fremd retain the football. So appears that's what it's going to be. Here comes the ruling. referee talking to a couple of Schaumburg players, it appears like. Explaining the call, perhaps. So with 9:16 left in the second quarter, the score 14-6 Schaumburg. We're awaiting the ruling on this play. It's
roughing the kicker.
Roughing the kicker, first down, Fremd, and here comes the Fremd offense back out on the field, and the ball will be put in play. It'll be a first down for Fremd, and they'll be all the way out to all the way into Schaumburg territory at the 49-yard line.
So that's the second personal penalty against Schaumburg tonight.
Coaches always say penalties are such a big part of the game, and avoiding them is wonderful. You get too many and it can really hurt you. So that one sets up Fremd with a first down at the 49 of Schaumburg. And keeps this drive, which started back at the 17, I believe, keeps it going. Here's Butler again. He's running hard. Schaumburg rush does him in finally. He almost had a chance to get it off, but the pursuit from Schaumburg was exceptional there, and never allowed him to set and throw that football.
Lost about 6 yards on that play.
So
actually 7 yards.
Among others, 66 of Schaumburg chasing him down on that play. That's Chris Mensa.
So the pass play, which had been effective for Fremd, not working now. 3 wides to the right, 1 to the left. Shotgun. Again,
number
Schaumburg.
7 breaking through for Schaumburg. That's McFadden from his defensive end, I believe.
So Butler has to pull it down and scamper with it. Picks up about 2 or 3 yards there. Brings up a 3rd and 14.
Tremendous pressure, 2 plays in a row. They're having trouble launching these passes. Now it's 3rd and 15, so Schaumburg defense sets their three of their their defensive backs are back a little farther for this play. The throw is hurried and thrown into the turf.
Between 2 receivers there out to the right.
That'll bring up 4th down. And with the ball at the 46 of 46 of Fremd. Fremd will have to punt it away, trailing by 8 points in the ball game. And back for Schaumburg is, looks like Smith, I would think.
Yes, it is.
And he takes it in. He's looking, he's coming around to the right side after almost being boxed in. He's weaving his way. Now he's got a break and he's found a seam. He's covering a lot of yardage here all the way down to the 26-yard line of Fremd. Another great return by Smith. One earlier in the game, he brought it to about the 35. He brings it all the way to the 26-yard line this time.
So Jeff McGlade on the tackle there. Able to track Smith down before he scores.
Schaumburg in business from the 26, starting with a 1st and 10, 26 of Fremd, leading 14-6, trying to go this short drive to stretch their lead out.
7:56 left in the second period.
Special teams play really strong for Schaumburg here tonight, their kick return team.
2 wides to the right, 1 to the left.
Alsamo back in. And
hands off to number 3, Tries up off the left side.
That's the old bread and butter up the middle with Patterson, and picks up a little bit. It keeps the defense honest and keeps it in the center of the field.
Picks up about 1 yard, so 2nd and 9. 3 wides to the right. Single back in the backfield.
Here's Alsamo looking.
Oh! Off the hands of number 22 there for Fremd. So Garrett Groot able to get a hand on it, but not able to pull it in.
Number 6, Richard, is way to the right.
Oh, offsides.
Smith went offside that time in a wide receiver position. Started just a little bit early. So the walk-off is against Schaumburg, and that brings up 3rd and 14. So Schaumburg looking for another one of its big plays right here at 3rd and 14. Alsamo looking downfield.
Puts it up.
Throws it a little too deep for Richard to run under, and that'll bring up 4th down. But they're at a position here where the ball is on the 30, so that would be a 47-yard field goal attempt. They've got a good kicker, but I don't know, 47 yards, and so we'll see. Looks like they're
going to go for it.
They're going to go for it on 4th down here, try to pick up a 1st down. They've got 14 yards to go. Alsamo back, throws to the short man, Patterson, but rushed a bit, and they didn't connect. So the ball goes over on downs. The Fremd defense that time making one of its better showings of the night after Smith set up Schaumburg with a 1st down at the 26. They're turning it over to Fremd at the 30, so they went backwards 4 yards with that series. Quite a good defensive stand by Fremd, to say the least. Keeps them in this ball game. They're only 8 down, and we got 7 minutes in the first half, 7:06, so they can bring this game to a tie or near tie with a score here. That was a very important defensive stand for Fremd at that point of the game.
So 2 wide, 1 receiver to each side. Handoff up the middle to McGlade. Looks like he picked up close to 5.
Glade picked up a nice piece of yardage. Maybe they'll try the run a little more this series. They had a rough time with the pass the last series. Schaumburg put on quite a rush, and they might just go with more of McLeod right up the middle. Some of these rushmen get themselves out of position for stopping a runner. Here comes McLeod again, but no, that time they saw him and they brought him right down. That's
maybe picked up 1 yard on
third,
that.
Looks like it's going to be 3rd and 6. So Fremd finding it difficult to move the ball here tonight. They had one good drive here earlier to put their touchdown on the board, but most of their other series they've had some difficulty against the Schaumburg defense, which is ranked just behind them, number 2 in the conference against scoring.
So Schaumburg wanting a timeout here. They're going to talk things over with 5:45 left. We'll be back in a moment. So both teams back out on the field.
Third down, 6 to go here for Fremd, trying to mount some offense. Butler. This time it was out of a spread formation. They didn't connect on that one. It's going to bring up fourth down in a kicking situation, but I think going forward we'll see them passing more out of the spread rather than having the quarterback over the center trying to they pick up just a little more time when he gets the ball on the hike from center. Gives him a little more time to throw the football.
Tried to connect with number 85 there. Cam Parker, who was well covered. 2 men there by Schaumburg. Wasn't able to pull it in.
Here's a punt that takes a reverse bounce against Fremd for Schaumburg, and it's down at about the 49. The ball actually hit at about the 41 or so and bounced backwards to the 49, where Schaumburg will put it in play once again with good field position.
5:27 left in the half. Looked like Smith back in at quarterback for the Saxons. Fakes the handoff, swings it off left.
Swings it off. There's a flag down.
2 flags.
Saw a Schaumburg player clapping. I don't know if that was perhaps it was a clip. It looks like it was a clip or
Looks like it might also
clip or holding.
be a hold on Schaumburg. Thought I saw.
See what it is.
Yep, holding against Schaumburg.
So that'll put them back to the, looks like about the 38-yard line. 38-yard line. Smith in at quarterback, Stacy Smith. 3 receivers to
Fakes
the
the
right.
handoff.
Here
pulls
goes
it
Smith
down.
running it to the left. And he picks up pretty good yardage there. He's got about, it looks like he's got about 12 yards. He's so fast, he picks it up so fast, it doesn't seem as long as it is sometimes.
So he gets most of the penalty yardage back. It's 2nd and 11 to go.
Gone out of bounds just before that. So he picked up about 8 yards, 9 yards on that play.
A lot of speed on that Schaumburg offense. Again, a keeper, rolling right. Throws, dropped. Calling it
Patterson
incomplete.
just going from his running back position out into the left flat and couldn't hold on to a ball. It's thrown sharply by Smith and bounced off the hands of Patterson, incomplete. So that brings up 3rd and 11 from the 48-yard line of Schaumburg. Smith has Patterson just behind him and 2 receivers wide to the right, 1 to the left. Pass a little too high for number 4 there. That's Collins.
Just a little too high for money. He reached up for that, wasn't able to get it.
Money trying to make the interception there. Collins trying to make the reception for Schaumburg. Falls incomplete. Fourth down, and so here comes the Schaumburg punt. Very high kick. Probably it's a fair catch at about the 29-yard line of Fremd. Fremd has these gray numbers on a white background. It's not the easiest to see the numbers, especially if they're in the shadows or at some distance.
Too bad they don't have the green numbers. Those would show up pretty well.
Those would show up. I think that would be too easy to figure out, but somebody liked this design or this combination, and from the fans and the announcer standpoint, it's tough.
So a handoff up the middle to McGlade. Looks like he picks up a yard or two.
Well, they've got 422 to work with, and I think we'll see Butler out of the spread more here. He's over the center now. I think that's got signals a running play.
False start on Fremd.
False start there.
Number 51 jumped.
That's
Michael Orich.
Orich offsides on that particular play. He's a 6 foot, 180-pound guard, I believe.
That puts him back 5, makes it 2nd and 14.
Here's from the spread, so
Oh!
almost picked off. It was a little low, and good penetration by Schaumburg there, and tipped up in the air. And
Number 42 got his hands on that. That's O.J. Sally. Not able to pull it in, though, for the Saxons. So it'll be 3rd and 14 here. Both these offenses have been going backwards on their last few drives. The defense is asserting themselves here.
A lot of stunning on this Schaumburg defense. They really move around a lot, and that time McFadden was bouncing around different positions in the defensive alignment there, and it makes it difficult to coordinate the offensive blocking assignments.
So 4th and 5, Fremd will punt.
Short gain on that last play, and it just brings up 4th down with 3:05 remaining.
And over end.
Ball out of bounds down at about the 30,
the 33, it looks like.
33-yard line. So Schaumburg will put it in play there with 2:59 remaining in the half. Holding on to this 14-6. All the scoring was in the first quarter. We've settled down into more of a defensive mode here in the second quarter, with the two mid-suburban West leading defenses asserting themselves here more in the second quarter. El Sambo back in, and at quarterback they're rotating each series here. Here's Patterson trying to find room around the left side.
And he does.
Fremd defense catches up with him, but not before he picked up about 5 yards on that. So effective first down play. Brings up 2nd and 5. El Sambo back.
Another handoff to Patterson up the middle. Breaks through, picks up about 10 yards, moves the chains for Schaumburg. 2:15 left. So that's the first down we've seen in a while. Quarterback had to pull it down and scramble. Picked up a couple of yards.
Apparently good coverage on the part of Fremd on that one. He didn't see anything really open and took off for a little run, picked up a couple of yards. And
So Schaumburg calls timeout, and we'll be back in a moment. So they're back out on the field. Schaumburg 2nd and 8.
El Sambo looking way downfield.
Hit as he throws.
And hit. Ball falls incomplete. So that brings up 3rd and long, 3rd and 8, with 1:48 remaining in the half. Schaumburg holding on to that 14-6 lead that they've had since the end of the first quarter.
Three receivers bunched to the left.
There's nobody out to the right on this play.
Oh, intercepted by Fremd.
Intercepted. It's number, see if we can read his number, 22 of Fremd pulling that one in. So that will give them, that's Garrett Groot, a junior, 5'10", 172, safety. Picked off that one and sets up Fremd with an opportunity here. They've got to open it up a little bit. They've only got 1:44 left, which is enough time, but it's tight. And they've got the ball at their own 38-yard line. So out of the spread formation, 2 receivers each side. Butler back.
Again under pressure, pulls it down.
Runs around the. There's a flag that went down. Looks like a holding situation.
Yep, that's the preliminary signal, so that run will come back.
That brings them all the way back to about the 24-yard line.
So 1st and 24 now.
Clock is ticking away. We're down to about 1 minute, 20 seconds or so. Butler over the middle, and he gives to McGlade. Picks up a short gain there.
Up to about the 30-yard line, the clock continues to run. Looks like Fremd will just
down to about 1 minute to go in the half here. And,
let the clock run.
Fremd looks like they're not in a hurry, and they might want to get off one long pass here before the half is over. And they're going into more of a run formation. They've just Butler over center, and it's only got 2 wide receivers. They bang it up the middle. Now we're down to 30 seconds, and the time flying off the clock rather quickly in the first half here. We're winding this half down. Looks like it's going to be a 14-6 halftime score the way it's going right now. We're down to 16, 15 seconds. And Fremd taking their time. It's 3rd down, 3rd and 18.
They're just running the timeout here.
They're going to just not even line up here, it looks like. So that's it in the first half. It's 14-6. All the scoring in the first quarter. The defenses asserted themselves in the second quarter. So Schaumburg out in front, 14-6. They've had a few big kick returns, have contributed to their lead here tonight. And so that's it for the first half, 14-6.
Well, they said at least got one thing off. But I wouldn't want to give them the work. Not exactly. Can't score if you don't try to score. No, thank you. Boy, it looks pretty good out there. Well,
Okay, we're back. The team's out onto the field. Fremd is going to be kicking off.
Schaumburg in the north end of the field. They lead 14-6. They'll receive the kickoff, and they've got Stacy Smith back on the right side of the field as we look at them, and I believe that's Richard to the other side. So they've got two exceptionally gifted athletes there.
High kick coming down around the 11-yard line.
This is number 9 takes it. That's
number 3.
Or number was it 3 or 9?
3. Patterson.
Patterson back for the kick. Okay. So Patterson back for a kickoff here, and he brings it out to the 33-yard line. Where Schaumburg will put it in play, 1st and 10 here in the start of the third quarter. Schaumburg moved the ball well in the first quarter, not so much in the second quarter as the Fremd defense dug in. They're the leading defense in the conference. Here's Patterson, and he
off the right side.
Off right side, and he runs with authority there and picks up about 7 or 8 yards, it looks like, or maybe not quite that much, 5.5, 6 yards.
But a good run on first down. Again, handoff to Patterson.
Up the middle, just a little right of middle, and he's got a first down. Patterson on 2 straight runs here to start off the third quarter. Stacy Smith in at quarterback. Gives to Patterson again. He's got running room right up the middle again. And it's about 5-yard gain. Patterson yet again, but this time he's met by about 2-3 Fremd defenders there and loses about 2 yards.
So the Fremd defense finally warming up after halftime. 2 receivers wide right, 1 to the left.
Smith pitches, and big loss on this play. Very big penetration there by the Fremd. It looks like a number 24 or 34 coming in for Fremd. I think it's
so 4th and 15.
34 Storm, a linebacker, coming in and
Schaumburg gonna punt
making
here.
that tackle. Tremendous speed on the Fremd defense that time with real hustle and penetration. Here's the kick, and it's going to stay in bounds and take a big roll against Schaumburg for Fremd, all the way down to the Schaumburg return man thought that ball was headed out of bounds. It certainly looked like it, but it hit a couple feet from the sideline and spun just slightly left and rolled all the way down to about the where are they marking it there? It's
at the 4-yard line.
About the 4-yard line.
Met Isola there, letting the ball bounce. And that pins Fremd deep in their own territory.
Fremd is way backed up on this one.
So 1st and 10 on the 4-yard line. Fremd going to have to drive the length of the field to get a score here. Fakes a handoff, rolls to his right, keeps it.
There's Butler and a rare keeper play, rolling out and running with
Out
it.
to about the 15, close to a first down. It is a first down. So Fremd moving the chains, getting a little room to work with back there. 1st and 10 on the 15-yard line.
Nice run by Butler that time.
2 wides to the left. Ends off up the middle. Oh, McGlade caught by the ankle and brought down. Picked up a couple there. More than a couple. It looks like about 3 they're giving him there. So 2nd and 7.
Butler over the center. Usually a sign that they're going to run the football. But not this time. He's back. He's looking for a receiver. He's got number 24 on the reception. That's a long game. That's Matt Konopka, a junior, 6'2", 190, pulling that one in.
There is a flag down.
Flag on the play. Let's see what happens here. It looks like it is against Fremd. So that will negate a big pass play. Bring the ball well back into Fremd territory. Very costly penalty that time. Of course, perhaps it was a hold on a Schaumburg defender, but for the hold, he would have gotten in and sacked the quarterback. So that's
hard to tell. But that's going to put them back about 2nd and 15 now. They're calling it 2nd and 17. So Fremd with a lot of yardage to pick up here. 1 receiver wide left and right. 2 backs in the backfield.
spread formation. Here's Butler looking to pass. He's just on a little angle pass, a little flare pass there to the right, but it bounces off the fingertips of the receiver, so incomplete, and it's
Greg Money not able to pull that in.
3rd down, and it's Money. That's a play we've seen before where he just he starts out as a blocking back and then drifts off to toward the sideline, and Butler tries to hit him with a pass, and it's been completed a few times tonight, but not that time. There's Butler out of the spread again, looking to pass. Now he's still looking to pass.
Oh, right off the hands of number 42 for Schaumburg.
It was a dangerous pass there, thrown into a bit of a crowd there, and 42 of Schaumburg almost picked that one off. That was...
That's O.J. Sally for Schaumburg, who had his hands on it. maybe knocking it down in self-defense. That was quite a bullet toward his chest. So Smith back waiting this punt from Fremd.
Hey, stay out of your dad's wardrobe.
It's going to stop and roll
At about
where Fremd will down it at about the 49-yard line of Schaumburg.
they've got a good Fremd roll there on that kick. So Schaumburg again working with a short field. They will put it to play from their own 49-yard line. 7:48 to go in the third period.
Schaumburg with 5 wins has virtually
Hand off up
Here's
the middle to Smith.
Alsambo hands to Smith, and Smith runs wide right and picks up, looks to be about 3 yards or so.
33 on the tackle for Fremd.
And was
That's
there a
Josh
flag?
Gents.
Was there a flag on the play, or looks? Yeah, apparently a flag on the play. I think perhaps it's illegal motion. I couldn't quite see it there, but yeah, I think illegal motion on that. That's a play where Smith comes across, and perhaps he or somebody else started a little soon. So it's now 1st and 15 back at the
2 wides each side.
44.
Hands off to the motion
There's-
man, number 6, who is taken down in the backfield. But a flag flies again.
Jawan Richards trying to take it around on the end around that time. We've got another flag.
Schaumburg lost about 4 yards on that play, but we'll have to see what the penalty is.
All the while here, Fremd is getting decent penetration so that these plays that take a little time to develop
Looks like
never really get very far.
a hold against Schaumburg.
Hold, so the drive that started at their 49 is now all the way back
To the 31.
to the 31. And we're going to have still 1st down, but it's 1st and 28 now. So El Sambo is in at quarterback.
2 wide to the left,
And
hand off up the middle.
Give is to Patterson, I believe, and he pounding it out up the middle, but he's got decent yardage, but we've got 28 yards to go, so that takes a little chunk out of it. Looks like he picked up about
7 yards maybe.
7 yards or so, so we're 2nd and
And
should
still
be about
long.
2nd and 22 or so, 21. So El Sambo in a spread formation. He's got two receivers each way, and the give is to Patterson again, and rips off a decent gain.
Up to about the 45.
So they
About 3rd and 14. Marking it at the 46, so it'll be 3rd and 13. Spreading it out, 2 wides each side again, 1 back in the backfield.
Patterson lines up behind El Sambo. Now El Sambo looking downfield. He throws very long, and that came fairly close to being complete. That was, I believe it's Smith way down there.
Yep, Smith dove for it.
Dove for it just short of the 10-yard marker. It didn't quite make it there, but he was very close. So that brings up 4th down and long. 4th and 13, so punting team is in for Schaumburg with 5:50 left in the third quarter.
Kick is up. It's High end over end.
Fielded a fair catch down at about the 19-yard line, it looks like. So Fremd will put it in. They've had
Isola not letting that
tough
one bounce.
field position much of the night, and such is the case again starting at the 19. They've got 81 yards to go to try to get in position to tie this game up. So it's a one-score game. The score has continues to be 14-6.
No scoring since the first quarter. One wide to each side. One back in the backfield.
There's Butler out of the spread this time. And it looks like he gave to McLeod, but
dropped immediately as soon as he got the ball. So
by the big tackle there, that's the big guy, the 300
lost
pounder.
About 2 yards.
The upwards of 300 pound. That's Lee Dews, 6'4", 360. So that's NFL size and then some.
So two wides to the right this time, one back in the backfield. Hands off to McLeod.
He's got running room to the right, and he's going to be close to a first down on that carry.
So picked up about 10 yards on the run, needed 12. See where they mark it. It's like the 27-yard line. So 3rd and 2. Oh, met in the backfield again.
Was that
a loss.
Was that 44? Or I think it
thought
was.
It was. Oh, on the tackle?
On the tackle.
It was McLeod on the carry.
Oh.
Lost about 3 yards.
I think it may have been 44, Connor Lipinski, who burst in there and made that stop from a linebacking position.
So Schaumburg playing in the front backfield quite a bit. So a low end over under. Goes out about 45.
Some of the Schaumburg fans or Fremd fans thought there was holding on that play. And I think that's what the Fremd coaches are asserting. But Schaumburg gets the ball here.
Good field position.
Great field position yet again. They've had a lot of field position, but this Fremd defense, since the first quarter, has dug in and managed to keep Schaumburg from expanding its point total beyond 14. Here they are at starting the series at the 45 of Schaumburg.
So a handoff up the middle. Number 3 across the 40-yard line.
Ball squirts out. I don't know if he may have been down by that time.
They are calling him down. 2nd down.
2nd and 4. Gain of 6 there. Or maybe it's 2nd and 3. 3 or 4. 3. So a gain of 7 by Patterson on first down. Stacy Smith back at quarterback again, as they're rotating quite a bit tonight, almost every other series it looks like. Smith out of the spread, gives to Patterson up the middle. He's breaking tackles and churning his way down to
about the 31-yard line. That'll be a first down for Schaumburg. Marking it on the 32-yard line. 2:45 left in the third quarter.
Smith out of the spread, gives again to Patterson. Patterson hit this time near the line of scrimmage and pushed back.
Made one man miss, but
41 in there prominently for Fremd. And that's Addison Narter, a linebacker, helped by a couple of other Fremd tacklers as well. So a loss of 1 on that play brings up 2nd and 11. Ball on the 33. Here's Smith back to pass. He unleashes a long pass, and it's almost complete.
knocked away.
Would have been a touchdown. Knocked away, covered, but the Schaumburg player had, that was number 2. Cole Rios that was down there and was fighting for the ball, but it was knocked away by the defender. So that brings up 3rd and 11.
He's having a hard
Here's
time.
Smith rolls right. Now he's looking. Now he's going to run. And there's an ankle tackle there by, it's hard to see the number here, 24, I think. I think that's 24 again. That's Konopka, I believe, on the tackle.
Just
Who
really hard to see those
sees-
from numbers.
sees action on both sides of the ball for Fremd. Fremd has a few two-way players, Konopka, Money, a couple others that see some two-way service.
Now 4th and 3, 2 wides to each side.
4th and 3. This is a very, very big play. Here,
Smith keeps it, loses the ball.
Loses the ball. Fremd appears to have it.
They do.
And that snuffs out another Schaumburg attempt. And we're down to 1:32 in the 3rd quarter. The Fremd defense has risen to the occasion yet again, stopping this Schaumburg offense, which has a lot of explosive players, a lot of talented players. Stopping them again, and we're now nearing the 4th quarter here as they put the ball back in play, 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line.
Trips right.
Here's Bueller.
Puts it up. Number 22, I believe, pulled that down. Gain of...
That's Garrett Groot, a junior running back and receiver, I guess, in more of a receiver slot back capacity there.
Picked up 9 yards, so it'll be 2nd and 1.
Probably see McLeod carry the football here, I would think. 1 yard to pick up.
Trips left.
It's
Quarterback
Butler
sneak.
on the sneak, and appears he's got it. What they're saying, a fumble, or
No, I don't think so.
he was awful near the ground when he started the play. No, I think the referees are saying that he touched the ground right away, and it's a first down. It appears to be a first down for Fremd on that play.
It is.
So Butler on the quarterback sneak picks up the first down. Apparently the ball came out after he went down. So 1st and 10 at the 36. Seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter at this point. Fremd needing a touchdown to tighten up this ball game, maybe tie it up.
Down by 8 at this point.
And the Schaumburg defense all over McLeod on that one. 44 is in there and about 4 or 5 others.
So McGlade losing 2 or 3 on that carry.
That's Connor Lipinski, among others, in there.
Again, the Schaumburg defense spending a lot of time in the backfield of the Fremd offense.
Their linebackers have been very active tonight and very quick on pursuit.
And that's going to
44, 32, Blake Whitcamp.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score Schaumburg 14, Fremd 6. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, team's back out on the field. Start of the fourth quarter here from seeing if they can score some.
Butler looking out of the spread. There's a whistle.
Flag on the play. I think it's going to be against Fremd. Illegal procedure is called.
We'll back him up 5 yards. So 18 yards to go for a first down now. 2nd and 18. From their own 33.
And it's been 30 minutes since anybody scored. Game time. Actually, I guess it's 24 minutes in the high school.
The leading two defenses have taken over the game here the last 2 quarters. And here we are in the opening seconds of the fourth quarter.
Oh, intercepted, it looks
intercepted
like. Number
by number
44.
44. That's Smiley, I believe, for Schaumburg, one of their linebackers. Or no, that's 44 Connor Lipinski.
So Schaumburg again with good field position. They'll take over at the 35 of Fremd. 11:55 left in the game. And Schaumburg leading by 8 points.
Well, this Fremd defense has had quite a task trying to keep Schaumburg off the board repeatedly when Schaumburg has good field position like this, and it's going to be hard to do. Here's a run by Patterson on first down. That's one of their favorites. Have Patterson pound into the line, get the good blocking from that Schaumburg offensive line, and picks up 8 yards on first down. So all the way down to the 28 now. This time, not much running room at all. He's met by the Fremd defense penetrating there, and they throw him for a loss. That's Patterson going down for looks like about a 2-yard loss or so.
We'll bring up 3rd and 5. So Schaumburg looking to the sideline for the play. 2 wide receivers each side.
Pretty much in 4-down territory here.
Smith in motion.
And Samo out of the spread looking. He's got his man. He's got Patterson on a reception. He's got the first down with ease.
Able to break a tackle there and pick up about another 5 yards.
This sets up Schaumburg in great position to complete a drive and hit pay dirt here. They're all the way down to the 15-yard line with a first down. Best opportunity they've had since the first quarter. Here's Patterson again. He runs into a big crowd.
Picks up maybe a yard, it looks like. So 10 minutes left here in the game. 2nd and 8. Smith in motion, gets the handoff, trying the right side, and he's surrounded.
Trying to run around a number of Fremd defenders there. 22 was in on it, and they pushed him back. That was Garrett Groot was among several. The safety was up on that one. Somebody is down on the field there. That's Smith. Looks like he's got a cramp or something.
Holding his right shin there.
Perhaps it's a twist or something. So Stacy Smith down on the field here with 9:45 remaining in the game and the score 14-6.
We'll be back in a moment. So the team's back on the field. Smith able to walk off under his own power. 3 wides to the right, 1 to the left, 2 men in the backfield.
3rd and 14 now. Alsambo back in the spread, looking deep to the left. And
touchdown.
It's caught. It's a great catch out there. That was
I think that was number 6.
That was Juwan Richard on the catch there. He's been making big plays like that all year long. Makes an impressive touchdown reception there where he jumped way in the air and gathered that ball in for the touchdown. The kick is blocked and no good. So the score now becomes 20-6 with 9:37 on the pass from Alsambo to Richard in the left side of the end zone, near the front of the end zone. So high pass was high in the air, and Richard went way up and got it, pulled it in for the touchdown, and Schaumburg extends its lead to 20-6, 9:37 remaining, and the pressure now is on Fremd to really move the ball to try to get back into this football game. They've been struggling on offense here throughout much of the game, and it's now become a 2-touchdown game. So they're in a tough situation, and Fremd is a team with a 3-3 record. If they go to a 4th loss here tonight, they'd be right on the edge of elimination from playoffs. If you get 5 losses, you're definitely not in the playoffs. So they have to fight here to try to avoid a 4th loss tonight. They've got 9 minutes and 37 seconds to turn it around for them. Schaumburg pulling out to a 20-6 lead at this point.
They've already got 3 teams ahead of them. Schaumburg, Conant, and Palatine. There's the kickoff. Taking it about the 12.
Yeah, good run back. And this is all the way. This is one of the better run backs for Fremd.
So 23 for Fremd.
All the way back to, that was Matt Isola, who plays a lot of wide receiver and some cornerback for Fremd, returning the ball very well that time. So one of the faster players on the team. He's 5'9", 157 pounds, but moves very quickly, and brought it out to the 41-yard line. So Fremd has much better field position than they've typically had tonight. Here's Butler looking for that little angle pass.
Complete to number 24 at about the 47-yard line.
Picks up about 6 yards on it this time.
So Konopka on the reception there for Fremd. Clock running down to 9 minutes to go here in the game. 2 wides to each side, 1 back in the backfield.
Now out of the spread, he's back for the snap, and Butler looks. He's got a lot of pressure. Tries to run out of it. He probably picked up about 1 foot on that run. That'll bring up 3rd down. Remains about 4 yards to go.
He's been running for his life quite a bit there.
Had a linebacker or 2 that burst in and went after him there and prevented him from getting that pass off. Schaumburg doing a fair amount of blitzing here tonight and doing it successfully.
So 3rd and 3 here for Fremd. Flags fly. Stops the play. Offside for Schaumburg, so that'll give Fremd a first down. So encroachment, giving Fremd a new set of downs with 8 minutes left to go in the game. Fremd down by 2 scores.
Right now, Fremd will take the first downs any way they get them and keep that ball and try to get the necessary couple scores to get back in the game here.
Trips
Bueller,
right.
looking. Now he runs to his right, being chased and gets off a pass that's well below the...
Short of the intended receiver there.
Just well below where anybody could get a hand on it, that's for sure. So,
Ball intended for Isola. So 7:36 remaining. The clock is stopped. 2nd and 10 for the Vikings. Ball on the 47-yard line. So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 1 back in the backfield. Pitch left.
the ball comes out. Schaumburg has it. A big turnover. Turnovers are always big. 7:29 left in the game. Schaumburg has the football and a 26 lead.
From electing to run to the short side of the field and not a whole lot of room to play with there, and loses the ball. Schaumburg up by 2 touchdowns, and they have the ball. 7:29 left. Smith in at quarterback.
Well, we can expect to see Smith run the ball a little bit here. They can work the clock a little and take 3, 4, 5 minutes off the clock at just about eliminates the time necessary for Fremd to get back in this.
Well, Schaumburg calls timeout. They're going to talk it over. We'll be back in a minute.
Smith in at quarterback, and he's operating out of the spread. His running is somewhat more effective out of the spread than it is over the center.
Pulls
Here
it
he
down
pitches it.
to number 10, who's met in the backfield.
A lot of anticipation by the Fremd defense there. About 4 defenders closed in on the halfback right after he got the pitch, and there's a gain of about a half a yard maybe.
And a loss of about a half a yard.
Or loss of a half a yard. So it's 2nd and 11.
Number 10, Joden Baker, loses about a yard there. So Smith with 2 receivers each side. Hands off to
There's
number 6.
Richard coming around on the end around, and he's got running room. He's breaking. He's going all the way for a touchdown, it looks like. That's Juwan Richards, another real big play to add to a collection of big plays by him. Touchdown reception a little earlier, and now a run for a touchdown that will just about put this out of reach for Fremd. Anything can happen, but it's now 26-6 with about 6.5 minutes to go in the game. And Schaumburg's lining up for the extra point to try to make it 27-6 game. They'd be a full 21 points ahead. Kick is blocked again, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is. Low line drive
So
kick.
26-6, a 20-point spread here with 6:32 remaining in the football game. Fremd really has to open it up quite a bit right now, so we'll see Sam Butler throwing the football a lot here in the remaining minutes of this football contest, which Schaumburg has broken open here in the fourth quarter with two big Jawan Richards touchdowns, one on a leaping reception and one on an end-around run from his wide receiver position all the way into the end zone. It was about a little over a 50-yard run, I believe.
And Fremd just called timeout. They're going to talk things over before getting the kickoff. We'll be back in a minute. So the team's back out on the field. I think Fremd may be trying something here on the return. We'll see if they've got a surprise for Schaumburg. The kick's away, taken at about the 15. Number 23.
23 or 22? Or
23.
23.
Takes the ball out to about the 33.
That's Matt Isola again, returning it. A nice return. Gets them out to the 33, 34-yard line, 1st and 10, where they've got a real uphill battle here. Down by 20 points with 6:23 remaining in the football contest.
The Vikings not able to get anything going here offensively since the first quarter. They need something here now. Two receivers, wide left, one wide right, one back in the backfield. Pass is over the head of number 24.
Who's down? Is that the quarterback or?
Can't see who that is.
I think it's Sam Butler, the quarterback, down on the field.
And he is in pain.
So it's been a rough night for Fremd, especially here in the fourth quarter where the game has really, they had held on to a 14-6 deficit where it was a one-score game. It's expanded. Schaumburg on two big plays has expanded it to 26-6, and now it appears the Fremd quarterback is on the field with an injury.
So we'll take a break and be back in a moment.
So
number 7 in at quarterback for Fremd. Butler looked like he had a hand injury as he left the field. So
this
handoff.
is Mac Rossman, a sophomore, 5'11", 175, is in at quarterback now. So they've gone from the junior, very experienced junior, to a sophomore quarterback who's probably seen very little playing time. And the assignment is to try to score 3 touchdowns in 6 minutes, so it's a tough place to come in.
Two wides out to the right. Hands off up the middle.
McGlade up the middle.
Out to about the 36. It'll make it 4th and about 8. Fremd will have to punt here. Just over 5 minutes to go in the game. So the snap, the kick is away.
It's a really good kick, and it's taking a Fremd bounce all the way down to about the 20-yard line. So Schaumburg will have it there with 4:51 remaining in the game and a 26-6 lead.
So Fremd's only hope here is to get a quick turnover and get the ball back.
Impressive game for Schaumburg tonight. Last week, Fremd gave Palatine, the league leader, all they could handle in losing 24-17. And so this is an impressive, very impressive showing tonight by Schaumburg. They really pulled away here in the fourth quarter. Now they have the ball with a little under 5 minutes in the game and an opportunity to really seal this victory if they get a couple of first downs.
So it looks like maybe an illegal procedure there on Schaumburg. Will push them back a little deeper.
Fremd has a rough assignment with Conant coming up next week. And then finish with Hoffman Estates. Schaumburg plays Hoffman Estates next week, and then it looks like, unless something really incredible happens here, it looks like they'd be playing Palatine for the championship in the last game of the season.
Though Conant's right in there with them. So we'll have to see what happens with those three teams atop the MSL West.
Conant is playing Palatine tonight. Earlier they were trailing 21-14, so they were in it at the half, and we'll see what happens there.
So 2nd and 12 or 13. Just over 4 minutes left in the game. One wide to each side, one back in the backfield. Handoff to number 3, who's breaking tackles.
That's
still on his feet.
That's Patterson, who's been running hard all night. He's racked up a lot of yardage against a good Fremd defense. Some of the Schaumburg offensive linemen, Matt Zolper, Justin Sanchez, Matt Stopka, all in the trenches tonight, pounding away at that Fremd defense and enabling Patterson and other backs to pile up yardage.
3rd and 5 for Schaumburg. From defense jumped, looked like they might have made contact there, which would be just to probably give Schaumburg a first down.
We're all the way down to 3:10 remaining. See how this walks off. If this is a first down, that can just about... Yeah, it is a first down, so another first down, and that can take another 2 minutes off. And even if Fremd gets it back, they'd have 1 minute to score 3 touchdowns. So Fremd in a Schaumburg just trying to hold on to the ball and run the 3 minutes off and
there's
put
a
this game
fumble
away. But there's a fumble back there, and that's the one way. Probably the only hope would be an incredible number of turnovers here, but Schaumburg retained possession there.
So 2nd and about 13.
And Samo calling the signals, using a lot of the clock here, letting the play clock run down. Here's Patterson pounding up the middle again. We're going to be under 2 minutes very shortly.
So back roughly to the original line of scrimmage. Picks up about 3 yards there. 3rd and 10.
3rd down, we're under 2 minutes. Fremd fans are starting to exit the field here. This appears to be a Schaumburg victory being wrapped up here in the remaining moments of this game. There's a run. I don't know if he was forced out of bounds or not. Nope, not. And now we're down to 1:24 and counting. Stayed in bounds, and the clock keeps moving along here.
Number 40, Chris Gisbeck there for
Now
Schaumburg.
we're at 4th down, but we're just a little over a minute. So Schaumburg will punt it away. And Fremd is not going to have enough time to do much of anything here. So Schaumburg they'll play Hoffman Estates next week, and really big game 2 weeks from tonight with Palatine.
High snap brought down, fielded the 33. Number 23 knocked forward across the 40-yard line.
That's Matt Isola again. He's been returning punts fairly well for Fremd tonight. So with only 29 seconds left, it's 26-6. Time for a couple of long passes, and that's about it.
This time Schaumburg calling a timeout. They want to talk things over. So with 29.6 seconds, we'll be back. So the team's back on the field.
Or this is Rossman, who will air it out and throws a nice pass that was just a little bit short. And
well covered by Schaumburg there.
yeah, two defenders back on that.
Number 15 for Schaumburg, able to get a hand on that and knock it away.
Didn't take too much time. We still have 24 seconds left. So Rossman will get a little opportunity to air it out here. The sophomore that came in when Butler was injured.
The 2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right. Putting it up again, out of bounds,
Out
too
of
far.
bounds. No opportunity to catch that one. So, well, Schaumburg really putting together quite a season here. They play the Hoffman Estates, which is a team that's trying to turn it around, but hasn't really achieved too much this year. But other than an occasional quarter of good play here or there. But so Schaumburg will be a heavy favorite next week, and then the following week they'd play Palatine for what appears at this point to be a championship game.
Handoff up the middle. Picks up roughly 5 yards, but time running, that should be the last play of the game.
And that will do it. Clock is running down, and it's going to be a 26-6 victory for the Schaumburg Saxons, who now go to 6-1. Have Hoffman Estates next week, and then a big contest with Palatine 2 weeks from tonight. They're headed for the playoffs. It was virtually a certainty last week. It's a certainty now. When you get to 6 wins, you're definitely in the playoffs. There's no possible elimination on points anymore. So Schaumburg is a playoff team. Meanwhile, the outcome here for Fremd puts them in a precarious position. They're 4 losses. That's the most you can possibly have. They've played a very tough schedule. This is the 4th one-loss team that they've played this year. So they've played a really tough schedule. However, they've lost to all of those good teams now. Every one of the one-loss teams has defeated Fremd, and so they have 4 losses, and they can't afford another loss or they won't make the playoffs, and they've got a tough Conant team coming up next week. They finish with Hoffman Estates, and Hoffman Estates is in a transition year with a new coach coming on and everything. But next week we'll decide whether Fremd makes the playoffs or not. If they can match up okay with Conant and come out with a victory there, they could still make the playoffs. But Conant has quite a football team this year, so it's going to be a struggle for Fremd to get in. And Schaumburg, meanwhile, appears to be on the way to at least a 7-2 season and perhaps an 8-1 season and a championship in this conference. So it's a big step forward for Schaumburg tonight.
Next week we will be at Fremd for that game, Fremd versus Conant. So we'll see how they're able to do, if they can bounce back from this loss to Schaumburg this week. That's all for this week. Again, your final score, Schaumburg 26, the Fremd Vikings 6. We'll see you next week at Fremd High School.